Hello, Internet, and welcome to episode 214 of Verbal Graffiti with your host, Brian Glass, aka the B-Man, the People's Degenerate. Apologies for the backdrop. We got Maui as a co-host once again for this episode. Love him, but he's very furry, and I don't want all that shedding to get on my backdrop. I'm also curious to see if my backdrop is why I'm not getting the numbies on YouTube and all the other social media platforms. So I'm giving this a go for the next 2 episodes because I record 2 episodes in one sitting, one recording, and also I have a door open of my bedroom / studio. So if you hear some noise, the toilet is running. That little thing in the back of the toilet, that little cord, I need to redo that to get it to stop running. But I'm recording an episode, 214. And the B-Man, I don't know how to multitask. And I have to keep the door open so Maui can come and go as he please. It's tough. It's tough. My toilet is running. It's not really my toilet. It's my mother's toilet and my father, R.I.P., his toilet. I'm just mooching off of them. I found out today, the B-Man, that's me, the B-Man, I found out my uncle, my mom's brother. I'm terrible with family trees. But yeah, my mom's brother, my uncle, who's 85, who's married, who has 2 kids of his own, who are grown up. They're in their 50s now. His 2, my cousins, they have a granddaughter who's living with my uncle. So my uncle's granddaughter is living with him, and then she has 2 kids and 2 or 3 dogs that's living with him as well. And across the street from my uncle, who's 85, his daughter lives, who is my cousin, and her daughter is living with her. And they have a dog as well and a child. And that's what it is in the economy. You can't make money. You can't save for a down payment for your own house unless you mooch off your parents or your grandparents, if you're fortunate enough to be in that position. Nobody's doing well. If you're doing well, good for you. But you do know you are in the minority, and AI is coming for your ass. As Maui whines behind me. Look at that cutie. I'm sure he'll pop his face up again at some point. Well, yeah, I was taking Maui for a walk before recording this episode because I wanted to wear him out so he would sleep through while I record these episodes. And I noticed the last couple nights while taking care of Maui, while my brother is living a fantastic life in Denmark, celebrating his 50th birthday. Congratulations for being an old fuck, Kevin. But good for you. You're 50, you're in Denmark, you're living your life. I'm hanging out with Maui, but I'm taking Maui around the block in the suburbs of Connecticut. And I realized nobody has their lights on inside their house. It looks like nobody's home. And this isn't midnight. I'm going on a walk at 6:30, 7:30, 8 p.m. at night where it's dark here in Connecticut this time of year. And each house, there might be one light on. In the living room or a bedroom. And I'm not trying to be peeping Tom. There's nobody in my neighborhood that I want to see naked at this point in time. If that changes, I will let you know. If there's one thing to be, man, we'll let you know. If you've been here all 214 episodes, if there's some jigglers in the neighborhood that I want to see, I will bring it to your attention. But right now in 2026, there's nobody in my neighborhood I want to see naked that I know of. And I pretty much know everybody. But anyway, yeah, there's nobody with their lights on. Maybe one light in the living room. Most people, they just have their TV on. So you see that blue, dark, blinking, kind of eerie light. It's just their huge flat screen TV with the light from the TV coming on. But nobody, and it hit me. And I was thinking about, well, why does nobody have their lights on? Because honestly, electricity is what I love most. When I do yoga, and I usually do yoga at least once a week, I have an app. It's called Yoga. It lets me do yoga, and there's an instructor, and I do yoga. And at the end, you do namaste. And you have, I have 120 seconds where I lay down on the mat, on the yoga mat, and I silently say things that I'm thankful for. That's what they tell you to do at the end of yoga, to put yourself, be thankful that you're healthy enough to do yoga, to do stretches, to be lively. And almost every time I say I'm thankful for electricity. I love electricity. I would, when everyone talks about, oh, well, where in history would you like to go? I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back to candles. I don't want to go back to caveman. I want electricity and plumbing. Those are the two things I love. And it does irritate me because there was a time a few years ago where there was a hurricane or a bad summer storm with rain and wind. That's what a hurricane is. And we lost electricity. So I left my mom here. I can't be here. I got to go find a town with electricity. We lost electricity for 3 hours, and I was ready to off myself. Thankfully, I don't own a firearm, but if I did, I'd put it up to my temple because that's what I was thinking about doing. All I thought about when the electricity went out during that storm was, I don't want to be alive anymore. That's how much I love electricity. When it's out for 3 hours, I question my life, as should you. And what bothers me about electricity is it always goes out when you need it the most. And when there's a winter storm or a summer storm, when there's a lot of wind, that's when it goes out. But that's when you need it the most. That's when you should have it. Like, I hate when you call your company, electricity company, and you call, hey, the electricity is out. They go, yeah, it's our bad power. Yeah, the lines are down. There's a windstorm. Say, no, but we're paying for electricity to have it when we need it. Then put the electricity out on a July afternoon when it's sunny out. Don't do it. Don't pull. You know. I know I'm not the only one who gets irritated when electricity pops off, stops working when you need it the most. When it's 0 degrees and I'm frustrated. I was walking around the bike, they hit me. It's like, no one can afford their electricity. That's why everyone's got their lights out. That's got to be the reason why. They double your electricity charge every month. They don't tell you why. They don't say, I'm sorry. There's no card. There's no reasoning. The line on the bottom just doubles the price that was the last month. No explanation. So I'm walking around the neighborhood and presumably, if these are homeowners, they're employed, they're making money somehow, but clearly the money is getting tighter. There's less disposable, so people can only put one light on at night. Scary times are ahead for all of us. They really are. I don't want to live in a world where I can only keep one light on. There was a time when I wasn't dating a babe, but I had a dalliance with the babe, and every time I left the room, I would leave the light on because, again, I love electricity. I love walking into a room with the light already on. It's so cumbersome to always walk in a room and have to flip the switch. I don't want to flip the switch. So I keep the lights on. And plus, my mom pays for the electricity, and I mooch off of her. But every time I left the room, the babe I was having a dalliance with would follow me because I'm a leader. Babes love leaders. So I would lead us out of the room, but she would always turn the light off. And I noticed it. I didn't call it out. Yeah, because I knew this wasn't going to be a lifetime thing. And I knew she was doing it to save... Is there anything babes love more than pretending like they saved the environment and illegal immigrants? That's the one. I was doing stand-up last night. I know we're all over the place, but again, Maui's here. The backdrop isn't what it usually is. I got the door open. I'm walking in the rain. There's a lot going on in my head right now. I was doing stand-up last night. One of the last comics to go up earlier in the evening. I had matched with this lady on a kink app, and she messaged me, or I messaged her. No, her whole profile was in Spanish, but she matched with me. So I was out last night doing stand-up, and I asked this babe, hey, do you read Spanish? Because she was an Indian. So I stereotyped her. Well, if she's Indian, there's a good chance she's multilingual. And apparently, it's good to stereotype because she spoke 5 languages, one of which was Spanish. She told me what the profile said. So I waited till midnight to respond to this Spanish lady on the app because that's how you avoid being in a friend zone with a stranger on a kink app. Is don't respond during the day. Wait till nighttime. So, but that was later in the evening. What I want to talk about is the Indian lady. And she called herself an Indian lady. And she goes, oh, I'm an Indian. Of course, I know a lot about tech and language. I'm like, all right. So, and she asked for my Instagram. So I gave it to her and her profile. And at the time, I'm thinking, all right, maybe something's going to happen with this. But then I looked at her Instagram profile picture and there were 3 kids in it. I go, oh, you got 3 kids? She goes, no, actually I have 4. Odd. Where's the 4th child in the profile picture? I didn't delve into that. I didn't ask her about the 4th child, but I was thinking it. But we had good rapport. And again, she looked good. She was skinny, but again, with clothes on. That's the problem with babes who are mothers of 4. You look good with your clothes on, but there are very few mothers of 4 who look good with their clothes off. So I suspect that this Indian babe, she looks good with her clothes on, is why I was interested in her. But if I were ever to get to take them off, everything would be droopy. But that didn't happen because I get on stage and she's in the audience and there aren't many people in the audience left. So I'm doing my act. In the last few weeks, I've been talking about ICE. And I know, you remember when ICE was in the news every day? They were popping off everybody. Anyone who came after them with a whistle, pop, pop, pop. And so I've been talking about that. And one of the angles I've been taking is that I don't talk about ICE right away on stage. What I do is when I was in high school, when I was a teenager, I would play Grand Theft Auto with my friends. And that's a very popular game, so most people get the reference. I go, hey, do you all remember that game? And they go, yeah. And they go, yeah, it's kind of similar to what ICE is doing. They're playing real-life Grand Theft Auto. And then my angle is that when I was a teenager playing GTA, it never occurred to me that this was going to be a real job that the government would pay you for and give you benefits. You could just go outside, put some tactical gear on, and just pull people from their cars. Go to a 4-way intersection. Pin them up against their car door, pull them out, and have fun. And my whole angle is, I don't care what you think about ICE. You gotta admit, what the ICE agents are doing is fun. And I believe that. And that's the angle. I'm not trying to get political. I'm not a political comic. And generally, it's been getting laughs, especially from younger audience members who play video games. But this Indian lady, she gave me the sourpuss face. She arms crossed. She'd been loving everybody's act. She was very cordial, talkative to everybody in and around the bar, myself included. But as soon as I start talking about ICE and not in a negative way, this. There are 2 things that babes love. They love illegal immigrants and they love saving the environment. Everybody, anything else can go suck a fat one. That's what I learned I knew this, but it was confirmed last night with this Indian babe. And I don't even care about her. It's just, what am I talking about? Maui's just chewing up a toy. All right, well, all right, let's get into an episode. What was there? So we're talking about Maui. No one can afford for electricity. We were talking about babes love illegal. You know what's fun? Oh, 2 more things. Another thing about the ICE. I know this is like old news. It happened a month ago. So in our culture, if something happened a month ago, it might as well never have happened because it doesn't matter anymore in a lexicon, whatever it is that lexicon means. But I remember one of the guys that got shot by an ICE agent and killed turned out to be a male nurse. It was a guy we didn't know at first what his identity was, who he was, and then he's a male nurse. And then another angle I've been talking about on stage. I'm blurring the line between stand-up and verbal graffiti here. Is that good? Good. Like, I'm all for offing all male nurses. I'm not, I'm anti-male nurse. I don't think I'm the only one. If I'm getting, you gotta be, it's the same as getting a massage. Like you go to, maybe the male nurse is better than the female nurses on the floor, whatever particular hospital you're in. Same thing with a massage. Or you go get a massage, which I don't because I hate my body and I don't want to force a masseuse to have to, touch my body for money. Also why I don't get hookers. But it's probably better to get the male masseuse. Is this assuming male, the female, the males are stronger hands. They can get into to be rough. You know what I'm trying to say. The male the male masseuse, he's probably, he can get into your muscles and everything more than a female masseuse. But if you're a guy, a hetero guy, you want the female masseuse. That's just how it is. Same thing with a hospital. Like the male nurse might be the best one on the floor. But I'll tell you what, when I'm in a hospital bed, I don't want a male nurse and his wiener just rubbing up against my arm as I'm laying down in a hospital bed and he's standing up beside me. I don't care if he's the best nurse in the world. I don't want a male nurse. And there's no hetero guy that's not going to be disappointed when the male nurse comes in and goes, "Oh, I'm going to be your nurse for the next 12 hours. My name is John." What happened to Erica? That hot one, the hot nurse in the scrubs. What happened to her? When does her shift start? No guy, hetero guy that is, wants a male nurse with his dick rubbing up against your arm in a hospital bed. That's why when I found out that the ICE guy who shot the male nurse, good. Kill all the male nurses. I'm not kill them all, but I hope they all lose their job. Female nurses only. That should be the policy of, that should be a U.S. policy. That should be, everyone talking about healthcare, screw healthcare. Female only nurses. And I'm also angry that nurses wear scrubs, but that's a rant for another time. All right. Well, there was something else. You know what? I'm 17 minutes into this opening. I'm anti-killing people. When someone dies or when someone gets offed and you find out more information about the person, like, it does sway my opinion whether I'm always going to be anti the killing, but there's going to be, okay. I'm not going to lose sleep over that. And male nurses, I ain't losing sleep over you if you kick the bucket or someone pops one in you and you bleed to death. That's just me. That's just me. All I can do here at Verbal Graffiti is be myself. Moving forward, there was another topic, but we're almost 20 minutes into this opening, so let's get into a Reddit post that I found. And this comes from the subreddit Bartenders. According to my friend, what I do is annoying and poor etiquette. Whenever I go to a bar with my friends, I always pay cash and immediately pay after each drink is served to me. I do not build up a tab for various reasons that happens in the past, okay, being vague. For some reason, one of my friends, non-bartender, gets annoyed when I do this and always has to say something loudly like, "Geez, just get a tab like everyone else." I personally don't see anything wrong with it, and I always tip $1 for every beer I order, $6 to $8 price range. Yep. Am I displaying poor bar etiquette here? No, you are not displaying poor bar etiquette. But my rebuttal to you is, what if you are? Who cares? First of all, get rid of your friend. If every time you drink with him, he complains about how you're paying for the drinks and you're probably paying for his drink as well, tell him to go suck a fat one. Find a friend who's okay with how you pay for your drinks. But this is a bartenders and service industry workers and ex-service industry workers have done a number on us. They've done a number on all of us because there is that old, well, what did they say? You know if somebody's worked in the service industry because they'll let you know within 5 minutes of being at a bar or a restaurant or somewhere where drinks are served that they used to do the same job. That's something. You could be 65 years old, multi-millionaire, working for Google, or your startup venture capitalist, and as soon as you walk into Chili's, the first thing they'll say is, "Oh, when I was 18, I worked here for a summer." And then they'll say, "Oh, that's why I always tip 30%, because I know how hard that job is." So it's almost as though the public, all of us, we've been badgered into having Stockholm syndrome, where to the point where when we go into a bar or restaurant, and when I say we, I mean us drinkers, us people who eat people, the people not working at the restaurant, not working at the bar. We go into those places more concerned about the waitresses and the bartenders and the barbacks than we are about ourselves. And that is wrong. The B-Man, I'm here to tell you, in America, we got it all twisted. We, as the consumers, as the patrons, we got to go into bars and set the record straight. And if a bartender is complaining about how we pay for our drinks, it's on us, the customer, to let the bartender know, you're working. I'm not. I'm paying you. You're serving me. Do your job. Do your job. There needs to be more. And if you do that, what I just said, if you tell a bartender, "Hey, make me a whatever drink, here's the money, here's how I'm paying," if you call that out, suddenly you're an ICE agent. You're enemy number one. But that's not the way it should be. Like that the bartender's working. The waitress is working. Remember, you're the patron there. You're the one drinking. You're the one on your off hours. You're the one who's supposed to be served. The bartender, the waitress, the staff at that bar and restaurant, they should be concerned about your opinions as the patron, not the other way around. And you got to admit, it's twisted. How many times this guy, his thought process is not unusual. It is the majority. Most of us go into a bar and we're concerned about how the bartender thinks of us and how we're acting. But that's not how it should be. The bartender should be going at it his or her way to make us feel wanted, welcomed at your shitty dive bar. Yes, I would like an extra orange slice in my beer, please. And I don't want to hear any snide comment as you go to get my extra orange slice, because I tip $1 per drink and only $1 per beer. Although I do feel bad about that, because I gotta admit, you go to a bar now, it's $9.73 for a Coors Light, and I'm only giving you $1. But again, when I started drinking, that was, inflation. I don't think it's gotten to the dollar per one drink. I don't know. I don't drink at bars. I drink at home because I don't have the money to pay for $10 for a beer. Okay, he didn't step on my. Aw. But I agree with that. I pay for drinks the same way because I'm a big fan of the Irish exit. I like to be able to dictate my movement in the bar, where I'm going and when I'm going, and all that. And paying per drink allows you to do that. There's no mood killer. There's nothing that will kill the vibe with a babe than having to wait for the bartender to get your tab, find it, come back, and you got to sign the paperwork, and your babe is kind of like looking over your shoulder to see how much you tip and all that. And there's nothing that time period between, hey, can I have my tab, please? And I'm sure a bartender will call you out. Oh, we don't like guys who raise their hand and point on us. That's rude. That's bad etiquette. Fuck you. Give me my drink. Give me my tab. You're here to serve the B-man and my guest. But no, you get that period between, hey, can we have our tab, and then finding your credit card and doing all the sign. That's a vibe killer right there. You know what's fantastic is if you're with the babe, well, let's get out of here, and then you can walk out without having to wait for anybody. That's a leader. That's a leader. That babes like leaders. They like men who lead. They like men who come and go when they want. So when you pay per drink, you're free to come and go as you please. That's why I pay per drink. I don't like being trapped places. I like to be able to dictate my movement when I want to move. That's why I'm scared of being paralyzed. Literally paralyzed. That's a fear I have. I don't want that. Nor should you. But it is freeing knowing if you pay per drink, you just up and leave whenever you want. You don't have to. You don't have to wait on somebody to serve you. As Maui licks my crotch right there. But again, the bartender. I'm trying to get my thoughts together as Maui rips into my blanket. Anyway, so, I mean, of all the things a bartender is going to complain about at the end of the night, the guy or the gal who pays per drink in cash, it's down on the list. Like, he might complain about you and your etiquette, but it's not number one. First of all, you're paying with cash. And that's one thing bartenders and all servers love. They love being tipped in cash, because when you get tipped in cash, that's a tip you don't have to pay taxes on. So everybody loves not paying taxes, so they love that. But there are so many, you're towards the bottom of the complaint list, all right? There's always that guy, sketchy guy in the bathroom doing cocaine or selling cocaine. There's the drunk ladies who have the nips in their handbag and they're topping off their wine every time they get a new glass, so they don't have to pay for as many drinks at the bar because a glass of house wine is $12. What the fuck is that, by the way? Yeah, you have the Indian guy who has way too much cologne on. You have the old hag of a mother who's flaunting her chest, but she has low, just saggy jigglers. And then there's always a guy who's always hitting on the hot bartender every single night. There's another lady or another college kid who can't hold his liquor and he pukes in the bathroom. That's got to be cleaned up. All right, there are two guys, pumping their chests and getting in an argument, and the police have to be called. There's a lot going on at a bar, especially on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And then there's always the people who don't pay their tab or who just leave without paying their tab. And then they come in the next morning or the next afternoon, or they're calling, hey, did I leave my credit card? At least you paid your bill. All right. You're the least of the bartender's concern. Play this out. Play this out for me, okay? The bartender complains about a customer who pays for every drink he orders, and he tips each time. If a bartender is going to make a complaint about that, find a new job. Get out of the industry. We don't want you serving us cheap domestic beer. PBR, 16-ounce can. I'm on your side. Keep paying in cash so you can come and go. And these service workers, they need to learn to shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. All right, you worked at a bar or a restaurant when you were 20. Get over it. You moved on with your life. All right, the 55-year-old who's still back in bar at a dive bar, okay. She can whine about how we our etiquette in a bar. But everybody else, if you were a bartender under the age of 40, stop complaining. Stop. And all the rest of us, remember, when you go into the bar, you're the one who's supposed to be served. You're the one who's supposed to be felt welcome. Wise words from the B-Man. You best be listening. Let's go look at something. We lost a subscriber. I don't even know what to do anymore. We were at 69 subscribers here at Verbal Graffiti, and our humor is sophomoric. My mic is on, okay? So of course the number 69, which I'm not a big fan of, the 69 sexual position. That is some high school shit. That's some. I like to take time with making love. So 69, I'm not good at multitasking. It's why right now I'm flustered because I'm trying to take care of Maui and provide entertainment to all 5 or 10 of you at this same time. And it's not going very well. So, but yeah, 69, I'm not a fan of it, but the number, it's funny. The connotation of it's funny, even though the position is some high school bullshit. If someone's demanding 69 from you, they find a guy who's mature. Like, a guy who loves 69 is an immature man. And that's not a man you want to marry. It's not a man you want to spend the rest of your life with. Heck, it's not even a man you want to spend the next 20 minutes with. Honestly, because who can give a good tongue, right? Who can munch on that cooch while he's getting a BJ? It's not going to be a proficient munch job on your twat. All right, but I was at 69 subscribers, and now we're at 68. So somebody unsubscribed. If it was just one unsubscription, any number, I whatever. It's happened before. But 69 to 68, it's a bummer. It is a bummer, not going to lie. But hey, once we get back to 69, if we do, I'll be at 69 twice, so I can make fun of that number twice. The B-Man, I'm thinking positive. Also, remember, like, subscribe, all that BS. And I started taking zinc, which you know what that means. I'm taking zinc solely. We've talked about me wanting to get bigger loads. Let's move on. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. There was something else I wanted to. I'm a curmudgeon. That's the really only word I know, or adjective I know to describe someone who complains a lot, who's not happy, curmudgeon. I need to come up with a better adjective. That's something a curmudgeon would say. All right, this next one comes from the subreddit, and it's also the last one, because I only do 2 Reddit posts per episode, and this is number 2. That makes it the last. 1, 2. You got it. All right, this comes from the subreddit, Body Dysmorphia. I got addicted to being online because guys call me pretty after I send them nudes. All right. I've been sending nudes to random guys on Reddit, and they tell me I'm pretty. Some of them hype me up like crazy. It honestly makes me really happy and gives me more confidence in how I look. But in real life, I'm still not considered attractive. Nobody pays attention to me, and I've had people call me ugly or fat. So now I don't know what's real. Am I actually pretty, or do the lighting, angles, the poses in my photos just hide all my flaws? The gap has made me almost too attached to being on the internet. I'm constantly talking to guys just to get compliments about my looks. I'm almost online 24/7, and it's getting to the point where I can't focus on work or anything else. At the same time, I do feel more confident than before. So honestly, I don't know if I'm improving or getting worse. Where are all these babes when I'm gooning on the internet? Where are all these babes who are sending random nude photos of themselves to strangers on the internet? Where are these babes and their nudes when I'm gooning? Not once has this ever happened to me. It's another reason why I'm being a curmudgeon this episode. Because I hear stories I read posts like this, and I go, this has never happened to me. Who are the Johns on the internet getting random nudes from strangers for free? Where do you reside? How often does it happen? How do you make it happen? Because I want to know. I want random nudes from some babe, even if she is fat and ugly. I want some random nudes when I just happen to be gooning. Some people just have the life. Some people have the life. And some of us just have to. You ever have one of those days where you're walking and all the hot babes are on the other side of the street, on the sidewalk across the street? That's kind of my life. The babes are on the other side of the street. And the post is, where are you? Where are your nudes when the B-man's gooning? And I goon a lot. We've talked about my gooning here. That's just, I'm frustrated. You know the answer. You're fat and you're ugly. That's the answer. Now, I am concerned that you're hanging out with guys who will actually call you fat and ugly to your face. I strongly advise ditching those guys or those babes and finding a new friend group. Because although everybody's calling you fat and ugly in real life, you don't want to be associating with people who actually do that to your face. It is my own theory that talking shit behind people's back is the nicest thing you can do. Because otherwise, you're calling somebody fat and ugly to their face. That's rude. That's why you should talk behind their back, because you're a polite and upstanding citizen. But that is the answer. You're fat and you're ugly. And I know you're fat and ugly. I would never call you fat and ugly to your face. I just come on the internet on Verbal Graffiti and talk to a bunch of strangers behind your back. But that is the answer. You are fat, you're ugly in real life. But on the internet, you're getting all these compliments from these Johns. So I don't fault you for wanting to stay on the internet. It's kind of a win-win for all of us. What you should do is board up your windows, your door, never go outside again. Order Uber Eats, whatever, have food delivered. Just never go outside again. Board up all your windows. Stay on the internet 24/7 like you're doing, because on the internet, you're pretty. You're collecting those internet coins from all the Johns who just, they're all, I don't know why they're giving you money, because you're fat and you're ugly. I don't know why, but it's a win-win, because you're on the internet where you're getting compliments and you're feeling good about yourself. And you're also not going out in real life, so therefore none of us, including myself, have to see you. Right? It's one less fat and ugly person in real life if you stay online. So that's win-win for all of us. And I'm sick of seeing fat and ugly people in real life. So you should stay on the internet. And why would you leave the internet? You know the answer to that question as well. Stay on the internet. You have these Johns who are giving you compliments that are not deserved. They're telling you you're pretty. They're giving you money. They're saying they want to have babies with you. Some of the Johns are asking if you could trim your pubic hair and send it to them via the mail so they could turn it into a Brillo pad. You have guys who are filling an empty mayonnaise bottle with their dick loogies, and they're sending it to you as a thank you. Like, hey, your nudie photos, I filled up a mayonnaise jar with those photos, with the use of those photos. You have guys flying you out to Vegas. I don't know. You got strange Johns. For whatever reason, these Johns are attracted to you. They're giving you compliments, and it's making you feel better about yourself. Now, you know it's a facade, all right? But sometimes it's better to be lied to than to have someone in real life call you fat and ugly. So go, at least you're being, where you're being lied to, Like, they're making you feel good about yourself. Now, what's fucking you up is the dopamine rush. Like, that's why you want to stay on the internet. It's not so much about your body dysmorphia. It's the dopamine rush of the Johns giving you compliments throughout the day. And every time you get a compliment, you want another one. You want another like. You want another heart. You want another ping. You want another dollar. You want another internet coin. So you just keep having to ramp it up. You send a nude, and then before you know it, you have your lips spread. Where we can see the pink, and then you're subbing. You know. And that's where you're headed. But again, it's better than being in real life. And none of us want you in real life because you're fat and you're ugly. So stay on the internet. My ire, and I need to come up with a better adjective than ire. I've used that one before on this show. Is not towards you. Do what you do, honey. Get that money. Stay on the internet. Keep frazzing your brain with those dopamine rush that you're getting from all those compliments. But my ire is towards all the Johns who are giving you these compliments. Because they know you're not pretty. They're lying to you. They know you're fat and you're ugly. And it's not just you. This is a problem with the internet that frustrates me. Is I see too many babes on the internet getting compliments, getting comments who don't deserve comments and compliments. They say, honey, you're using face filters. You're clearly airbrushing your body, your bikini pic, and These photos and these videos, they don't even have to be vulgar, right? It can just be a normal photo, no nudity, but you're clearly using filters, and then you look at the comments, and it's a bunch of Johns telling you how hot you are, fire emoji, they would leave their wife and their children for you, but you don't deserve that compliment, right? You don't deserve that because you're using filters. You're clearly lying about how you really look. That's what I do now. The B-man, when I see a hot babe on the internet, I'm not even trying to get after her. What I do in the comments, I go, you don't need to use face filters. You're pretty the way you are. And I mean that. To me, when you use face filters or any type of filter to alter your body on a photo or video, that tells me you're insecure about yourself and your appearance. That's what that filter tells me. And if you're honestly, I'm not angry at you for doing it. I'm angry at the people giving you compliments. Because I've gone after Johns in the comments and go, hey, she's not hot. Maybe she is to you, but she doesn't deserve your compliment to her on her hotness or her attractiveness. Like she's using filters. She's lying to you. Right? If you tell someone on the internet, oh, you look so hot, but it's a photo where there's face filters and airbrushing being done, the person who uploaded that photo or that video is lying to you. So why would you give them a fire emoji or your Venmo account? Why would you do that? You're playing the sucker. You're playing the simp. And I'm just sick of all these Johns on the internet. They're giving out compliments and money all willy-nilly to anybody and everybody who posts a photo or a video. It's like, it's just, you should have to earn those compliments. The same thing with Stan. You should have to earn those laughs. No, I'm not giving you a compliment. I'm not giving you a fire emoji. I'm not telling you you're fire. When your face, you look like an anime character. I can't do that. I'm not going to lie to you because you're lying to me. So I'm mistrustful of you. And my fellow Johns, it's just be better. Be better. Yeah. Also, you'll be on a smut site, and there'll be a video that has 4 million views, but the babe doesn't show her face in it. And there's like 100 comments about how hot she is. And we don't even see her face. For goodness sake. Like, be better. You're going to give your nut to a smut video where the babe has so little respect for you and your nut that she won't even show her face? Nah. I'm a better John than that. And so should you be. Go suck a fat one.